Agirl's Chronicles, Episode 19. Inside the small hospital ward, the air was thick with tension and the soft hum of ceiling fans. The moment the doctor spoke, "She now leaks urine and may never live a normal life again," everything around seemed to blur. Agirl's eyes widened, her lips trembled, and before anyone could catch her, she collapsed. The nurses rushed forward, shouting her name as they lifted her limp body onto a stretcher and hurried her to the ward. Mama Put stood frozen, both hands over her mouth, her eyes swelling with tears of disbelief. Minutes later, Agirl opened her eyes weakly. The white hospital ceiling swayed above her, the smell of disinfectant sharp in her nose. A nurse leaned close, whispering softly, "You fainted, my dear. Please take it easy." But Agirl didn't reply. Her heart was heavy, too heavy. The doctor soon returned and gently explained her condition to Mama Put. He said it was a complication caused by prolonged labor and childbirth at a very young age, what the hospital called vesicovaginal fistula, VVF. He explained how, when a young girl's body is not yet mature enough to deliver a large baby, the prolonged pressure during birth can tear the wall between the bladder and the birth canal, making her leak urine uncontrollably. "It's not her fault," he said sadly. "She only needs surgery to repair the damage, but it will cost about 1,500,000 naira. And it must be done in a major hospital in the city, not here." Mama Put nodded, her chest tight with pain. She thanked the doctor, collected Agirl's things, and helped her home. When they got to Soji's house, Mama Put called him aside and explained everything: the fainting, the diagnosis, the surgery. Soji, wearing his usual collarless shirt and an empty expression, shrugged. "Abeg, I no get money for that kind talk," he muttered carelessly and walked away. Mama Put just stood there, heartbroken. Agirl, sitting in a corner, watched her husband's back disappear. From that day, her life became a river of tears. She stopped smiling. Her only company was her baby's faint cry and the sound of her own sobs in the night. Every day, the smell from her condition grew stronger. She needed 1.5 million naira for surgery, money she or Mama Put had never even seen before. There was no help from Soji, none from her father in the far village. Soon, the whispers began. Each time she carried her baby to the stream, people would flee, covering their noses. Some children threw stones at her, singing cruel songs, "Agirl the smelly one, Agirl the cursed mother." Her eyes would sting with tears as she backed her baby and fetched water alone. To avoid the shame, she started sneaking to the stream in the heat of the afternoon when everyone else was at the farm or school. She would fetch as much as she could before anyone saw her, then drag herself home to cook or bathe her baby. Sometimes she went to the farm, harvested cassava, and took it to the market. But even there, no one wanted to buy from her. The traders whispered and stepped back whenever she came close. Hunger became her shadow. Soji gave her no money, yet at night, he would return home late, reeking of palm wine and perfume, and still wake her to cook for him. If she delayed, he would slap her hard. Some nights, he came home with other women, laughing, drinking, while Agirl and her baby slept on the cold floor. Days turned into weeks, and Agirl's body began to weaken. Her skin dulled, her eyes dimmed, and the stench from her condition filled every space she entered. People started talking about her openly, at the stream, in the market, even at Mama Put's restaurant. One afternoon, Mama Put heard a customer gossiping and nearly dropped her spoon. The shame and pity twisted her heart, so she went to Soji's house and took Agirl back to the hospital. The tests were repeated. Hours later, the doctor walked in holding the result sheet. The look on his face said it all. What he told them broke both women's hearts again. Agirl cried uncontrollably, clutching her baby. Mama Put held her tightly, whispering prayers. Days later, back home, Soji grew tired of the smell and the murmurs from his girlfriends. They threatened never to return to his house unless that smell was gone. Soji didn't hesitate, he threw Agirl out. That night, rain poured heavily as Agirl dragged her small bag and held her baby tight under a tattered wrapper. Both mother and child were soaked, crying as thunder roared across the sky. She had nowhere to go. But then she remembered a lonely, abandoned hut on the edge of the village, a place she used to rest on her way back from the farm. They said a widow once lived there, a woman accused of witchcraft after her husband's mysterious death. She had died alone, unburied, and the villagers left the hut to rot, calling it cursed. But Agirl had no other choice. When she got there, lightning flashed through the holes in the roof, revealing thick cobwebs and overgrown weeds. She placed her baby down, wrapped in a cloth, and sat on the cold floor shivering till morning. At dawn, she began clearing the compound, cutting grasses, sweeping, trying to make it livable. While cleaning inside, she stumbled upon bones, old, white, half buried under the dust. The widow's remains. Fear gripped her heart, but pity followed quickly. She thought of throwing them into the bush or the river, but her conscience held her back. Even the dead deserve peace, she whispered. So she rolled the bones gently in a mat, took a small hoe, and began to dig a shallow grave behind the hut. But as her hoe struck deeper, it hit something hard, thud. She froze. Slowly, she cleared the soil, revealing a large clay pot. It was old and cracked on the outside but strangely clean and shiny inside. Her breath quickened. She knelt down, trembling, and gently lifted the lid. What she saw inside made her eyes widen in shock. Her body shook, her heart pounded wildly, and she screamed. Yezu! What is this? The echo of her voice rolled through the silent forest. To be continued.